I'm David. I'm here to tell you about the Stockport Spotlight project. I've been involved with the police and probation over the years for quite a lot of time. I'd hate to imagine the amount of crimes that I've committed in my area. And I'm just going to give you my view on it, really.
We've got one of the lowest crime rates in Greater Manchester, but we're looking for something, a way of reducing offending, sustainable. You can arrest people and you can put them behind bars or you can put them on orders, but we wanted something that basically stopped people going back into court and back into prison. Spotlight in Stockport is the second Spotlight unit to be rolled out across Greater Manchester, but ours is different, and that's because we have this co-location of all staff, both what we call the intelligence function, which is people getting together and share that information, and then secondly working with the offenders side by side. The best time to get anybody is literally at the prison gate, because the first thing that people think after they've been inside for a year and a half is I'm going to come out, I'm going to get absolutely wrecked and hammered. And if you can break that up and you can get people to start engaging with the services, once we take them past the first 3 week stage, actually, they're a lot less likely to reoffend.
We'll go through our red offenders first, then our amber alerts, and then obviously people will have an opportunity to raise any others for discussion or concern. Okay? Well, he attended appointments at probation but breached his condition by entering Stockport. Lisa, I believe he had an appointment with you and you were going to update today.
Yeah, he's not had an appointment since yesterday's meeting. He's got an appointment tomorrow at Cheetham Hill office with PSR at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Are there family issues? Are there concerns about safeguarding?
Fitness, maybe looking for an injunction of no contact with his partner, I don't know.
Spotlight have passed intelligence to the task force and attempts to arrest were made yesterday. Have we got any update on that?
It's been ongoing all week now. Been seeing a number of addresses, all negative so far.
Okay.
So still making arrest attempts as of today.
Can I interject again there? He's got mental health needs, hasn't he?
Okay. So should we move those into the appropriate categories tomorrow when they're released? Yeah. Okay, so for discussion.
We're at Stockport probation, and we're going to be meeting the people from the Spotlight unit.
How are you?
You all right?
This is Alan from Drug Intervention.
I'm Dave.
Hi Dave.
Nice to meet you.
And how are you finding it?
Good. It's a bit weird. Responsibility, paying bills, all that stuff, but I'm enjoying it.
Good. That's what it's about, isn't it, mate?
Of course it is, yeah. I was relying on these Stockport homes,
Right.
and then I went for an interview on the Stockport homes. There were 6 of us who went for an interview and 4 people got the job.
Right.
And then got a phone call saying, is that Dame? Said, yeah. I said, have you got a minute? And she went, I'd like to say you were successful in getting the job.
Brilliant.
I said, you're joking me, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? I said, you're kidding me, aren't you?
This is what it's all about, really. It's about, obviously, giving people help and helping them to have the confidence to be able to go out there and live their lives. Yeah. And it might be 3 months down the line.
Right.
And you remember me and you having a conversation. Yeah. It's not just about us referring you into a drug service. I'm here to say, you know, what about a bit of education? Do you need anything with reading, writing? What about a college course? What about me putting you in touch with somebody who could help you out? You might have problems in your family.
Yeah.
You know, it's that sort of thing where we're saying, like, we're here to help you, not to sort of work against you.
Alan is a drug intervention programme worker, so he's based at the Spotlight unit, and he does kind of the initial assessments of people who test positive on arrest in custody.
That is a very good example of partnership working, in the sense that we have got the drug referral worker who works with a probation officer, and Alan and the probation officer and other agencies, we always work together in order to try to make that difference and take the offenders forward.
Damien's risk is reduced at the moment, although it's not completely eliminated, so we'll continue to monitor his risk on a daily basis via the Spotlight unit.
I'm going into my school on the 10th of March, which is my old school where I got expelled from. And I think what the good thing is to go to them kids and say, I've wasted 14 years of my life, you know, and I could have, and I've got to start again.
What we found in this unit is that people that are committing persistent thefts over and over again are the people with a major drug issue. If we can divert somebody who's a persistent shoplifter into treatment, not only is it good for them, but it's good for the community as well. We've got Anne-Marie, who sits with me, who's our single point of contact. There's Jay Beacon in the corner, who's a sergeant of the Spotlight team.
And you can just pick up bits and pieces as you're going along, really. You can hear snippets of conversations. It's always a name that, you know, you've done something with in the past, and you think, oh, right, well, you know, what's that about? And you can pick up little bits of intelligence, as opposed to being anywhere in a police station where you don't work with the agencies, especially people like Drugs Intervention Services, and probation and the youth offending service.
We're just going to go and get Ross, and then we're going down to replay. See you later. See you. Bye. Any news on moving, or are you staying put? Stay there, right? Yeah? Luke. Depending on the people, I normally try and do an activity that they're interested in, and just find, with my role, a lot of it's getting to know the young person, and with an activity, it just helps them relax and the conversation flows a lot more easily.
Laura is an IRS mentor, so that's for resettlement. So the young person that she's working with is on Spotlight, so he gets an enhanced service from us and from the other services that are involved with the Spotlight team. So she'll be thinking about what activities they can do over half term. And we want to get him involved in stuff maybe away from the estate, away from his offending behaviour.
We're at my old school, which is Stockport School. I've come here to do a talk about my life really, and where drug taking's took me and through my life of crime. Alright.
I do remember you.
I'm David Douglas. I've come here today to share my experience of where my drug taking's took me over the years. It started with drink, bottles of cider and stuff on a weekend. A lot of gas, glue and petrol from the age of 13 up to 14. Taking drink with cannabis, and then I used to go along saying, well, I'll never take ecstasy, I'll never take cocaine, you know, I'll never take crack and heroin. Along the years, I've took every one of them drugs. You know, I was coming in school selling little bits, thinking I was clever, which resulted in me getting expelled and having no qualifications. And then I started hanging around with the older lads a lot more, pinching cars, and then they went on to robbing houses. I'd done that much crime that there was no alternative for me to go to prison. I went to prison for 2.5 years. It's not a nice place to be, just not through listening to what people had to tell me. At the end of my drug taking, I wanted to take my own life because I didn't want to live anymore. I'm having to start my life again. If you start drinking on the streets and taking drugs, you are going to end up in a life of misery. My suggestion is not to do it because you'll end up the way I was. You know, and it's took a big long battle to get where I am today. Thank you. 2.5 years ago, you asked me to do something like that. No way would I have been able to stand there and do something like that. So that shows that I'm making progress myself, and I can see that.
In the last few decades, we've seen sort of 3 generations of criminal, starting from, you know, granddads down to now the children that are becoming more antisocial behaviour risks, and then, you know, onto drugs, and then acquisitive crime, and maybe even into violent crime. So it's actually addressing those at the first port of call, really. So if we identify people's addresses, children that could be at risk of walking onto a life of crime, then we can put them in touch, or the parents in touch with different agencies.
We're in Bringington, which is in Stockport, and we're going to a little police depot to actually speak to someone about a Spotlight unit.
Hey,
all right? All right, yeah, good, yeah.
It's not just one service, should we say, the police, there's other people involved as well behind the scenes. Obviously the probation service is something you're involved in as well. Yeah. The probation service speak with the police, and we're actually in the same office now.
Right.
And then there's other services like the drugs referral, people like that as well. So nowadays, what happens with the Spotlight units is the idea is that you've got a central hub, if you like, people who speak to each other.
I used to always be resentful to the police because they was locking me up, you know, and I've actually seen the other side of it, of that you try to do a job, you try to make society better.
I think really from a Spotlight perspective, from that partnership working, like you say, we're sharing the information at a key time. So if we know the particulars about you and your drug taking habit and all the rest of it, we're sharing that information between each other. And it's not just probation and the police, the local authority, the community safety unit heavily involved with the drug action team, you know, that we just referred to now. And you are a success of that partnership working, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't want to see other lads going down my route.
David's involvement in the project, I think, is excellent. It's really good, and it'd be nice to think that the project we can get a lot more Davids. To have him speak, I think, to offenders on the scheme, to young people, and to professionals, I think is something that you couldn't buy it, to be quite honest with you.
He can actually outline where he went wrong as a younger person and how he's turned things around now. And that's worth 10 times me standing up there and telling people not to take drugs or not to do this, not to do that.
I'm truly grateful from the bottom of my heart for all the hard work that's been put into me and helping me into a new way of life.